and welcome to today's 4Ps podcast. Question for you. Middle of the day, you're sitting there and you just ate lunch, and then you feel like you want to take a nap. Or middle of the day, you just ate lunch and you feel like crap because you just ate lunch. And now your whole day is shot. So you had all this stuff on your list of things you had to do at work or things you had to do at home, and then you just like stop because you just don't feel good. You feel bloated. You just feel like garbage. You feel tired. You feel lethargic. You feel just ugh. You know, I'm going to tell you, if you live in the United States of America, and I'm not trying to dog. Yes, I am. I'm going to dog our food. We process the hell out of our food. So yes, I am dogging our food. As a matter of fact, they had just recently. They've had they've had Senate and congressional hearings over how nasty our food has been processed. And in the defense of a lot of our food processors and food companies, they are fixing it. Food is getting better. They're using different things to in the food. They're making it more healthy. I was in Australia a couple of months ago, and I had I ate lunch. I had food all the time, and never did I feel the way I feel here in the United States. Now, I love this country. I really do. I served for this country. It's just a great place, and I'm not dogging the United States of America. But I am going to tell you this. I'm 55, and I have been feeling this way for maybe about 10, 15 years after I eat. So I have to watch what I eat. Matter of fact, I eat a lot of fruits and stuff like that for lunch. I watch how I eat it and stuff like that. Do I eat cake? Do I eat candy? Yes, sir, I sure do. But I have to watch what I do in the middle of the day, because if I don't, then I feel crappy, and then more than likely I don't get a lot of work done. I try to walk right after a meal or something like that, and try to get something, try to burn off what I ate in order for me not to feel that yucky feeling after you eat. Today's guest, her name is Cynthia Ray, and she has 2 books out. One is called The 21-Day Sugar Detox, and then the other one is Fat Loss After 40. A couple things she talks about. She talks about diet. And I'm telling you, you have to watch what you eat, how you eat it. The 4 Ps: purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. It's a whole person approach to you being successful in life. If you do not take care of yourself, take care of your body physically, those 4 Ps, you might do them, but you're not going to do them for long. I'm going to tell you, because either you're not going to be here to do them, or you're just not going to be healthy enough to get those done. So make sure you take care of yourself. There are some great ideas. Now, her book's written towards women, but I'm going to tell you, men could definitely benefit from this at all, because food is food. We all have to take stuff in and all have to eat it. When we come back, we will be talking to Cynthia Ray, all the way in Idaho. And we'll be right back right after this.
Purpose gives your life direction. Planning turns that direction into action. Passion gives your mission energy. Persistence keeps you moving when the road gets hard. The 4 Ps of You is more than a book. It is a framework for building a life with meaning, focus, and follow through. Discover your purpose. Create your plan. Fuel it with passion. Finish with persistence. The 4 Ps of You by Trunnis Goggins II. Available wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to the 4 Ps podcast. We are staying on the West Coast this week. I mean, last week we had someone from Arizona, and rarely do I have people from the West Coast on this podcast. I have them from Canada. I have them from east side of the United States. I have them from Australia. I have them from New Zealand. Rarely do I have them from the West Coast. And we did it 2 times in a row in places that, I've never been, I've never had on the podcast before. And so today we have Cynthia Ray, and she is in the great state of Idaho. It is, first of all, right now, summer has started, and what is the temperature like today?
Today, it's probably, I haven't really looked. It's earlier this morning, so it's pretty cloudy outside and rainy. Probably in the low 60s maybe right now. It'd probably warm up
Okay.
a little bit to like maybe like the mid 60s. So yeah, it's not bad, it's just cloudy and rainy.
And how far are you
Yeah.
from Yellowstone?
Oh, Yellowstone. We are time-wise probably about well, actually a while, maybe like 8 to 10 hours
Well, that's a long haul.
east,
Yeah, you
west.
are. Yeah, you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot.
We're
Idaho,
closer to
it's
Washington
funny.
State. Yeah.
Okay, because Idaho is the oddest looking shaped state.
It's
You know, I mean,
like it's like a chimney with like a
exactly.
yeah.
You know, in northern Idaho, you can probably straddle the entire state, and then
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, and then the rest of Idaho is like the rest of the West. It's like
yeah.
long stretches. So yeah,
Yeah,
but it
exactly.
is
Yep.
beautiful country.
Yeah.
I have a story that I'm not going to share on this podcast, but it involves a bison, and it involves Idaho, and it involves Yellowstone National Park. It also
Oh,
involves my
pretty.
brother and my brother-in-law, and it also
Wow.
involves me getting in a lot of trouble. So
Sounds like an interesting story.
it is an interesting story. It's something happened when I was a early teenager,
Mhm.
and it was obviously as early teenage boys are. It was a stupid thing that I did. So there you go.
Oh, I
What
can't wait to
can
hear
you
it
do?
later.
Yes, exactly. But we're not talking about that today. I just want to tell the audience, and I know I told you guys before we got started, Cynthia deals with health, and she primarily deals with issues involving women's health as far as staying healthy and stuff like that. However, I will say this: I follow her on Facebook, and there are a couple things that she has done, at least diet wise, that now I'm even incorporating in my life because I, like most of her clientele, I am over the age of 40. Can you tell the audience exactly what you do?
Ooh, there's a lot to it. This is a whole story, but I'll try to keep it brief.
Go
So
ahead.
I'm a registered dietitian, licensed dietitian, and fitness specialist. I have a master's degree in public health and health education, so I kind of mold all those three things together, and I teach fitness, nutrition, and educate. And so bring it to the world, bring my message to the world. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years. So I am almost, how am I? I'm 49, almost 50. There we go. I almost forgot.
Mhm.
And I started when I was in my maybe 19 or 20 with fitness and doing some nutrition counseling at a corporate fitness gym in California. And I just love teaching. I just remember being in college and reading articles and exercising and actually I was on that step, remember that Stepmaster, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah,
I remember reading articles.
Stairmaster.
Stairmaster, there
Yeah,
you go,
yeah, there you
Stairmaster,
go.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I do the step mill now. But
Mhm.
anyway, so I was reading articles. I'm like, man, I wish I could share this with other people. It's so interesting. And so now I look back, I'm like, wow, it's so cool that I'm able to do that in different ways. So I do one-on-one nutritional counseling. So virtually, for most people, I meet with women all over, actually all over the world, different parts, English-speaking places. Um, we have a group. I do group coaching virtually as well. So again, we have women from all over the world, globally,
Okay.
English speaking. And now I'm writing. I finished my second book. I think it's been 2 years ago already. And then the companion book for my last one, I think last year. So yeah, no, it's been nice to be able to share. I love speaking live, though that's my favorite thing if I get to do that. That does happen once in a while, but because I'm so mobile, our family is bicoastal. We live on the West Coast when it's nice and on the East Coast when it's nice. So we kind of they call it chasing 70-degree weather. So we
Right.
kind of go back and forth. So yeah, no, but I love just being with people. I love helping. I just love that feeling of, I guess that satisfaction of getting somebody the answers to a question that they were just overwhelmed by and didn't know where to
Mhm.
start and getting them that breakthrough. So
You said you started at 19. Have you always had the same clientele, or have you grown
mm.
with the people that you help as far as health is concerned?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I've definitely grown. So what I've been teaching and how I've been practicing has been based on my own self life experience. So the beginning of my private practice years, so I think it was in high school to early college, I struggled with eating disorders. And so being an athlete and competitive with myself, with others and all that stuff, that's a place I went to on my own and just did chronic dieting and all these whole picture of things. And ended up in recovery when I was in college, in recovery program, fully healed, recovered. And I just, as a Christian, believed that God's hand was in it and he had a different plan for my life, and used that as an opportunity for me to help heal and teach other young women how to heal and recover as well. So I worked in recovery programs for years. I worked on teams, I worked one-on-one, and it was amazing, but very difficult at the same time, as you can imagine, just because of it's not the difficult part isn't really, let's see here, how do I describe this? It's not helping somebody like make them get to the next level. It was more about them getting into the way of themselves. Like they knew what they needed to do and watching the progress. But then over time, it's like they're doing the thing and then they just move backwards. And it's like, okay, come on, you're so close. That was the hardest part, but I wanted to keep going because I knew recovery was possible because of my own recovery. Right. And just walking them through the process was so rewarding. And I loved it. And I loved working with the team and helping. And then as I got older, so I realized, okay, this population's wonderful, but I feel like it's time for me to move on. And in my life, I was moving on and realized probably about 44, I was like, oh, I'm doing all the things right. I'm eating, my whole food, my recovery nutrition, which from my eating disorder came into recovery and learned about mindful eating, intuitive eating, listening to my body, honoring my body, all these beautiful things, and feeding my body healthy whole food, and exercising healthfully in a healthful, moderate way. Doing all those things, but I realized it's not working anymore. Like I'm not as fit and lean and healthy as I should be, I guess you would say. And I thought something needs to change. In the back of my mind, I knew there was something that needed to be done differently at this stage of my life. But in school and on my training, I was never taught how that happened. And I'm thinking, well, if it wasn't taught to me and I'm the expert in this area, how would anybody else really know what to do? Because just like, when I was a young dietitian, we were interning, we taught, pregnant and nursing mothers how to eat and feed their baby. We taught parents how to feed their toddler, parents how to feed their elementary age and a teenager and all the things, but nobody ever taught how to teach women over 40 how to eat and exercise according to their stage of life. And that was a whole missing piece that I was like, this is interesting. I want to figure this out. And that's my type of personality, being an athlete. And I just love to conquer big things. It feels really good to do that, and did all the research and did it on myself first and tried the diet route. But transitioning from working with eating disorders to helping women over 40 was a really big faith leap for me. Because working with eating disorders is a completely different population. We're teaching them and kind of brainwashing in a healthy way how to not diet, how to not restrict, how to love your body, how to honor your body, right? So we're moving way far away from anything regarding weight loss and the weight loss culture and body image culture, right? So we're trying to teach self-love and everything, which is 100% valid still. But it was either one extreme or the other. Either don't teach about dieting or talk about weight loss or anything related to that in that realm. And then the other side of the coin was, well, then how does somebody lose weight who has a balanced mindset? How do we teach them how to do that without teaching them how to lose weight? So for me, it was a really tough one because I didn't want to be that weight loss coach, because that's not how people knew me. Because being fairly known in the recovery world, teaching weight loss was like, I'd be out of the system. Like, what are you talking about? You're going against everything you believe in. We talk about body love and, body satisfaction, and how could you teach women how to lose weight? And I was like, oh no. But then I really, after my first book, so speaking of books, my 21-day sugar detox, that was a tough one for me to write, because my writing coach at the time said this would be a really great one for you to start with. And I thought, man, but I don't want to teach dieting. I don't want to teach restrictive eating. I don't want to teach all these things. But she said, no, you don't have to do that. Do it the way you do it. Teach it the way you teach it, because that's what people need. So I did. So I being a Christian, I brought a scripture into it. I brought my own healing journey into it, which was a big part of it, is my faith. and created a loving, caring, nurturing, body honoring theme into a 21-day sugar detox. So it wasn't like just restrict sugar for 21 days. It was let go, release your attachment to sugar, and bring in God, bring in your own personal growth and development, and see what happens when you fast sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like spiritual fasting. If you fast something else has to come in to replace that thing that you're attached to in order, to survive. So
Right.
what I learned too is writing this book was that a lot of women were doing a lot of introspection and learning a lot about themselves, which is my whole recovery programs were about. So they're recovering from sugar addiction is what it turned into, or sugar dependence. And so I realized, you know what, I need to do a group for this. So I ended up creating a community, a Facebook community, and we did it as a group together the first few rounds. And later on developed a journal, which is the companion book that goes with it, because there's so much for some ladies that is really uncovered about their mental health and well-being because of their dependence on sugar when they have to let that go.
Right.
It's like letting go of that security blanket, and not knowing what else do I do without sugar? How else do I cope? Or just unveiling, things they didn't realize about themselves. They just thought, oh, I just eat too much sugar, but they realize more.
We do eat too much sugar, and sometimes, and I mean, so you're not too far from the U.S.-Canadian border.
Yeah.
I can cross the border right now into Canada, and I'm not saying this to be mean. Even our own Secretary of Health and Human Services says the same thing. Their food is better. Their food does not have any sugar in it, or it does, but I'm just saying they don't put all these dyes and all this stuff. It is so hard nowadays in the United States to have a sugar detox when everything is loaded with sugar. Everything. I mean, I was looking on the back of a ketchup thing just because I saw it on the internet, and I'm like, oh, come on, that's a lie. And it was true. There was almost more sugar in ketchup than there is in an Oreo cookie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you can't get away from it. When you talk about a sugar detox, it's almost as if everything you have to buy is organic. Is that what I'm is that where I'm guessing, or no?
Yeah. So no. So actually what it is, it's whole food, right? So if you buy any food that's processed, the likeliness of having sugar in it is extremely high, especially in our country. But if you're getting an apple, there's no added anything, just the apple, right? If you're getting a sweet potato, it's a sweet potato, right? There's nothing added. So if you're eating whole food that is grown from the ground, that's designed for our bodies, the perfect match, and our body's designed for the food, that's the best way to do it. It doesn't have to be organic. There's actually a list called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. It's by, what company is it? It's EWG, their Environmental Working Group, and they have these lists. And you can go on their website, ewg.org, I think. And they have a list. So the Dirty Dozen is the 12 foods that you need to get organic. It means dirty. They're, infested with pesticides, and you need to get those organic. And then there's the Clean 15 are the ones that you want to get. You don't have to get organic. You can get them in whatever, non-organic form. So you don't have to get everything organic. You just have to be a little bit more picky, choosy, I guess, to know which ones to get organic and which to not. But yeah, so it's just really about eating whole food. My 21-day sugar detox book comes with a meal plan. It's very comprehensive. It's like a meal plan, grocery list, cookbook. It has recipes in it, and a little schedule that you follow with what to eat each day. And most of my clients just repeat this, certain foods that they fall in love with, and just honestly, it's funny. Out of all the meal plans I've made, that one always comes back as the favorite. I'm actually doing a lymphatic drainage cleanse this week with my group. And I just got two messages this morning. Oh, I know we're doing lymphatic drainage, but can I use the 21-day sugar detox meal plan for this? I really love it. Like literally this morning, before I got on here. So it really is a favorite, but it's just whole food. It's just eating whole food. The basis is paleo style. I say style because I'm not really I don't know, labeling diets because, I'm not a diet person,
Right.
but it's paleo style. So people understand the parameters in order to reduce sugar cravings. That's why I chose those ratios of macronutrients to reduce sugar cravings. So essentially, whatever we eat more of is what we crave more of. That's just
Right.
in general. So if you eat more whole food, you crave more whole food. It's really determined by your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria actually determines your cravings and
Wow.
your tongue, your desire of your tongue. Yeah.
And that's funny you should say that. I used to hate yogurt, but recently
Hmm.
I started eating yogurt, and now I always want yogurt. It's the
Hmm.
weirdest thing. So you're right. You're absolutely right when it comes to that. Um,
Hmm.
I want to get into I'm 55. A lot of people who listen
Hmm.
to a lot of people who listen to this podcast, even though I have a lot of young people on the podcast, I didn't realize that until I pulled up my numbers. But there are a
Cool.
lot of people on this podcast that are over the age of 40, and I'm sure a lot of us, and I'm going to say a lot of us, because I am included in that. It is very difficult to maintain a healthy weight over 40.
Mm.
And I want to say healthy weight. I am going to talk about fat loss because that's where I'm going with you.
Yeah.
Um, how do you talk about it in your book? I don't want you to explain too much of your book. I do want I want the audience to go out and get the book for sure.
Yeah.
But um, what happens? I know the metabolism changes, all these things change, but
Hmm.
what is one of the common themes you see with women over 40 and
Hmm.
how they struggle to do the fat loss?
Hmm. So it's really understanding your body. And if you've lived over 40 years, a lot has happened to your body in those 40 years. So
Hmm.
when you're 20, it's a lot easier to get over stuff, like a sickness or you gain weight and it's easy to lose weight, right?
Right.
But what's happening is we're actually over the years, over all that stuff you've been doing since you were little, all of our organ systems have been affected. So it's kind of like it's like everything comes to a head at that time. And plus our bodies slow down, so they become a little bit more sluggish. And it's like we peak and then we start going down metabolically too and biologically.
Right.
So let me share the key reasons why women struggle to lose weight, or men too, weight after
Hmm.
40. Number one is a clogged or congested liver, because your liver is responsible for hormonal metabolism, other things too, and fat metabolism, and it's your filter, right? So, and then also it works with your gallbladder, common bile duct, and large and small intestine.
Hmm.
And if your liver is congested, it's not able to do its job the way it's supposed to. And metabolizing fat, whether it's dietary fat, like, food you eat, or on your body, it's going to be very difficult, if not going to be possible, to mobilize body fat because you can't metabolize it because your liver's not available to do that. The second part is, so we have that one. Oh, and we're doing lymphatic drainage this week. So your lymph system is very underrated and under talked about, but it's so important as I'm learning more and more about it. So a lot of times people feel like they gain weight overnight, and
Hmm.
that's possible, but gaining body fat overnight is not as possible. It's usually a fluid shift, right?
Okay.
So a lot of men and women say, "Oh man, I feel so bloated and puffy. This morning after I drank and ate sugar, whatever,
Right.
and
Yeah.
or whatever you ate, whatever it happens to be that person's trigger food that causes inflammation." So what's happening is you're causing internal inflammation. Your whole body is getting inflammation in order to heal itself. It's actually a healing phase. And
Hmm.
that inflammation brings on fluid. So our body's trying its best to do what it can to flush out your system. But if your lymphatic system is clogged up and has never been cleansed or cleared, or you're very stagnant, you're very sedentary or stagnant, it's kind of like your pipes backing up in your system in your house. If
Yeah.
one of them's clogged, nothing will flush through. So like your major lymph nodes are here in your neck and also in your groin. So if these are clogged up, your body's going to try to push fluid out of your face. That's why a lot of people get fluid retention in your face. And this is clogged up. It's not going to be able to drain through the ones in your collarbones and then ultimately through your armpit. This is the biggest one of the bigger bundles of lymphatic nodes are here in order to get rid of toxins. So, and if you wear antiperspirant deodorant, that's actually clogging up your lymphatic system as well. So keep it easy on the antiperspirant.
Wow. Okay.
So
That
yeah, so
is
that's
new to me.
yeah. So
Seriously,
if
I
it's
did not know
clogged
that.
up,
Yeah.
yeah. So if it's
Mhm.
clogged up, it's going to cause a lot of internal inflammation. If you're underhydrated, your lymphatic system has more water in it than all of your other organ systems combined.
Okay.
So if you don't have enough fluid, you're not going to, just like for example, your toilet. Going back to the bathroom. If you only have a little bit of water in your toilet and you try to flush it, nothing's going to go anywhere, right? So you need a lot of fluid to run through the pipes and do its job. Same with your lymphatic system. If you don't have a lot of fluid, nothing's going to go anywhere. Or if one of your lymph nodes is clogged, it's kind of like, pinching off a hose and you try to put water through it, nothing's really going to come out. So that's where the inflammation comes, and it's like you backed up your system. Inflammation and water retention. Interstitial, meaning like between your cells under your skin, is where that fluid retention comes, the puffiness, the bloating. A lot of women and some men get it in their, puffy faces. They wake up in the morning, or arms or feet or, ankles, stuff like that.
Wow.
So,
That is, first of all, I'm very glad that Dove is not, or Degree for that matter, is not
oh
sponsoring
yeah.
this program, because we just told everybody, do not lay off the antiperspirant. Okay, don't use
Antiperspirant.
deodorant. Anti.
Other ones, deodorants are fine, just and not the antiperspirant. I have one
There
that's
you go.
I have to find it, but there's some online that you can find that are
Okay,
not antiperspirant but are natural and are very effective.
excellent, very good. So
So,
again, we might have another sponsor, but definitely not Dove or Degree.
I'll have to go find it
Um,
to my mother room.
Absolutely. And then the other thing, what I want to do is I want to ask you one last question, and
Mhm,
it is summertime. Now,
mhm.
I have, and a lot of people have this. You have the winter weight, which is always heavier than the summer weight. All right. I mean,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
mine can be drastic at times. Usually it's about 5 pounds one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, you don't eat as much in the summer. At least I don't. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm,
But the stuff I do eat in the summer
mhm.
is next to garbage. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I am
Yeah,
into I'll ride my bike, 30 miles to go get a Dairy Queen Heath Blizzard or something like that. But I won't eat all day to get this. So
right.
obviously that's a lot of sugar. We do eat a
Mhm,
lot different. Our summer meals and our winter meals are different.
mhm,
What would you tell somebody, especially when
mhm,
we just talked about, the I don't want to call them pitfalls. I do
mhm,
want to call them the hazards of sugar.
mhm.
What is something that you would tell somebody, as far as dieting? I don't want to say diet because that's not the word. As far
I
as
know you're saying weight
eating
loss, like a weight loss
weight
plan or
loss, yeah,
whatever.
in the
Yeah.
summertime,
Mhm,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I guess the number one thing is grace, right? So the other thing that I didn't mention, I'll come back to this. The other thing I didn't mention just previously was stress. So the more stress we put on ourselves about wanting to lose weight or needing to lose weight, the more our metabolic heels dig in. So it's much more, if difficult, if not impossible, to mobilize body fat if you are stressed out in general, if your
Oh,
cortisol is high, if your fight or flight is high, if your vagus nerve is, your nervous system is dysregulated, it's going to be nearly impossible, and with a clogged liver, to lose body fat. So we address that in my groups from the get-go. We do a whole week for reducing cortisol and showing people how to how to calm their nervous system first. Then we do a liver detox and so on. But then, okay, so you're talking about sugar in the summer or
mhm,
enjoying pleasurable foods, we say, in the summertime.
absolutely.
Yes, do that. You should. So what we like to do, though, is be intentional about it. So not just doing whatever comes your way, not whatever sounds good all the time, but whatever is good. That's different, right?
Okay.
Not you ask yourself, what do I need and what do I want? Those are two totally different things,
Well, that's
right?
too.
What
Yeah.
do I need right now? What do I want right now? And of course, anytime if I offered somebody an ice cream, they're going to take it. Oh, that sounds good. But do I need that right now? Or do I just want it right now? Right? So that's where my teaching is more holistic. It comes into play with listening to your body. Like, of course your mind's going to want it, but does your heart need it? Right? So it's a different place.
That is true.
So if we followed our emotions and did whatever we felt like doing, it probably wouldn't be the best life outcome in general, right? If you're like, oh,
For
yeah,
anything.
let's do that all the time, right?
Not only for food, we can go to everything. Yeah.
Everything, yeah. So that it's the same way. It's the same thing. So grace, yes, for sure, and allowing yourself permission to have what you want when you want it, but also knowing the difference, like knowing, is that really going to help me right now? Is this going to hinder me? So looking at the outcome, like, okay, if I eat this other thing, I know I'm going to feel terrible. Or if I eat this other thing, it's going to be like soul food. It's going to fill me like, wow, this would be so amazing right now. Okay, but what we do in a practical sense, though, is I usually give my clients the 80-20 rule. So 80% nourishing, whole food, life-giving whole food, right? And then 20% of the time other, whatever that looks like for that person. Some people love salty, some people like sweet, whatever. But allowing yourself permission to have all of those things. So it's really being intentional about those opportunities. So like even in the end of my sugar detox book, I say, if you're going to reintroduce sugar back into your diet, don't sell yourself short. Like, you're worth more. Get the thing that is absolutely your favorite thing. Don't just settle for whatever donut is lying on the counter at the office staff room or whatever. Like, know that you're worth more. Like, you just came through the sugar detox. Like, make it worth it. If the donut is a thing, if the donut's that thing that you love and been looking forward to, then when you eat it, don't just walk around. You're going to eat it mindfully. Sit with it. Notice the texture. Notice the smell. What does it look like? Mindfulness meaning using all of your senses to enjoy the food. Anytime you're eating anything, that's actually the case. With my recovery people, that's what we did all the time. And in life in general, it's important to eat mindfully. But like in our family, we do this thing called dessert day. So we'll choose a night during the week where we intentionally, as a family, have dessert, and we just know that's coming. So whenever we have another dessert opportunity, we're like, yeah, I really don't want, it sounds good, but I want to wait for dessert day or night. And we're going to go get whatever ice cream, whatever dessert we want together, or buy something at the store that sounds really good. So it's just being really intentional about it, and getting yourself the best, not settling. Like, whatever your absolute favorite thing is, that's what you should have on the days that you plan for it.
That's an awesome idea. And I like the fact that you actually have an event around.
Yeah, it makes it
it's
fun.
actually pretty cool. It does. It makes it fun. And so then, you don't want to take it's like, for example, if you're somebody who always gets what they want, Christmas is not really an important day, because
yeah, exactly.
why? So
it's not as exciting.
It's not as exciting. So that actually has excitement. So that's actually great.
Like last night, for example, my mother-in-law had us over for a barbecue, and my son, he's funny. He's like, yeah, my family, we save it for special occasions. So my son was like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to enjoy my dessert. My mother-in-law's like, oh yeah, it's our dessert day or whatever. So it was, because we were all together, it was meaningful. That's the thing too. Right. It needs to be meaningful, especially sharing it with somebody creates that sense of meaningful. And there's like a whole nother level of satisfaction. Sharing food with somebody has a lot of meaning. Especially if you're having a great conversation and you leave like, oh, that was nice. Then it gives you all the things. Even I encourage my clients too, even if it's a food that you feel like you shouldn't be eating, take a moment and bless it.
Yes.
Bless this food to my body, and you change the intention of the food than being afraid of it, because being afraid of it is what causes actually the stress, fear, and anxiety, and shame and guilt and all these things. But what if you looked at your food in a different way? Like, wow, I know this is really maybe not the best thing for me, but I really want to enjoy this right now. I'm making the choice to do that. Be intentional about it. For anything you eat, no matter what it is.
That is a beautiful thing to say. I just want you to know that you will be able to get Cynthia's, you can reach Cynthia. Matter of fact, it's on the thing here, cynthiaray.com. Or you can also, you will see her contact information in the podcast notes. So make sure you could get to Cynthia. Again, she has two books. One is the 21-day detox, sugar detox, and the other one is fat loss after 40. Both books. One book comes with a cookbook. Am I correct?
Yes.
And so Make sure you get the cookbook with it. Really, really, really good ideas and ways to stay healthy. And like I said, we're not telling anybody on here to stop doing what they're doing. We're just telling everybody to make sure when you do it in moderation. Cynthia,
Mhm.
thank you for being on the program. It was a
You're
delight.
welcome.
And you know what?
You're
You make
welcome.
me feel a little better about that Heath Blizzard that I will be getting today. Not
Yeah.
today, someday. I'm not going to get it today. I don't really feel like it. But
Well, if you
you know,
ride your bike, it's a good
exactly. But
idea.
it's rainy. It's really rainy, and I don't
Oh.
feel like doing it. So whatever. I'll get Heath Blizzard later on. And plus, living in Nashville, when I lived
Mm.
in Indianapolis, when I lived in Buffalo, wherever I lived very, very close to a Dairy Queen. I don't. So I
Oh,
really
oh,
have to hoof it to get to Dairy Queen.
I
And
see. Yeah,
so
you have to be intentional about it.
I have to be extremely intentional and I have to have some time because I really do.
Hmm.
Whenever I eat
Yeah.
Dairy Queen, because it's so high in calories, I make sure that I have to do an exercise to get there. So the Dairy Queen is my reward. And that is a lot of exercise. It's almost, seriously, in order for me to get to the Dairy Queen where I get, it's a 30-mile round trip. So that's a good bike
Mhm.
ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
So your focus, just real quick, your focus on that would for sugar wouldn't be so much the calories; it would be utilizing the sugar. So
Absolutely.
whenever you eat sugar, you want to use it, the energy
Burn
from
it
your
as
sugar, to
fast
keep
as
it
possible.
down, and
Hmm.
then we lose body fat by keeping blood sugar down, not by calories per se. That's a whole
There
other
you
thing,
go.
but that's in the
That
book.
is
You'll find more.
exactly in the book. All right. We will be
Okay.
right back right after this. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
Every story begins with a truth. Some stories are meant to inspire. Some are meant to heal. All deserve to be heard. At Veritas Publishing House, we bring truth to life through the written word. At Veritas, we guide authors from vision to visibility with purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. This is more than just publishing. It's legacy. Veritas Publishing House. Publishing truth, inspiring purpose.
Welcome back to the last segment of this podcast. I know you enjoyed. I know you got a lot of good information from this podcast by Cynthia. Remember, and again, like I said, we were talking about eating, and don't. A lot of people will just not enjoy food. There's food here for you to enjoy. All right, cakes, cookies, pies, stuff like that. Eat them. All right, don't eat them all the time. Eat it in moderation. I love what Cynthia said about making it a special event. Definitely do that, and please do. I know that I love chocolate. All right, I really do. And you know what? I love Cadbury chocolate. So like not the Cadbury eggs, all that stuff. I love that stuff. I've loved it since I was a kid. They don't sell a lot of Cadbury in the United States. They do sell it up in Canada. The Cadbury Crunchy is the bomb. They also have something else that I didn't eat until I went to Australia, and it's called the caramel bar or dairy milk, something like that. Dairy milk bar, and they sell them at like world markets and stuff like that. And I get them. So what I do is I buy a big old bar, right, like $11 candy bar, which don't tell anybody. And then what I do is I'll break it up, right? And I'll have like I think there's like maybe 15 or I'm sorry, 16 squares. I break it into four, so it takes me 4 days to eat it. Okay. And it's a privilege to eat that candy bar. And I try to slow down because I don't want to have to drive all the way to World Market. I live in Asheville and the World Market is way away from me. And I don't want to have to drive all the way literally across the city to go get it. But I do once a month or something like that. And I'll eat it. And I'll go to World Market and buy that stuff. But it's good stuff. It's a reward to do that. And like I said, if you eat it in moderation, that's fine. A lot of people say never eat that. That's bad for you. It probably is, but I mean, so is everything else. If you eat too much, if you have too much vitamin C, it's bad for you. So you want to watch out. Just do things in moderation. But I love how she talked about it. I love how, she talked about her origin story. She was very honest about her origin story, about, how she got into health and wellness and things like that. And I'm glad she opened up about that. A lot of people, when they have to make changes and to their health. I know that now, since I am, when I was 25, I could eat whatever I want. And I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, like, yeah, you could eat whatever you want. And at 25, 30 years old, absolutely you can eat whatever you want. At 50, 55 years old, you cannot eat whatever you want. You have to make sure you are taking good care of yourself. One thing I will tell you, and I'm going to tell you this all the time, this is outside of what we were talking about with Cynthia. Make sure you exercise. Okay? Make sure. Do exercise. Lift. Okay? Always, get some dumbbells. I'm not saying you have to go get 100-pound dumbbells and sit there and bench press 100-pound dumbbells. I don't even do that. But make sure you lift. You do things like that. You exercise. You walk all the time. You make sure you get all of those things in. Get those steps in every day. Walk. Take care of yourself. Do moves that keeps you mobile. You know what? Do 50 to 100 squats a day. Just do them. You don't have to do it at one time. If you can, that's fine. But maybe break it up. I'm going to do 10 squats an hour for 10 hours. But get those squats. It helps that mobility and helps you out. And another thing it does is, honestly, it helps you be able to get that piece of cake and not feel guilty about it. I'm telling you. But yes, so next week, speaking about people who are healthy, someone who was such a workaholic. Now, here I am talking about purpose and precision, or not precision, but persistence, and trying to move forward and do whatever it takes to be successful. One thing you want to do, and we're going to stay a little bit on the health thing, but one person who worked themselves so much that it literally changed their life, and it actually changed the course of their life. Next week, we're going to have Joaquima Hiller Lewis. She has been a friend of mine for a long time. She's been on this podcast before, a long time ago, before we even had, the YouTube channel and things like that. You definitely want to see and hear what she has to talk about. Joaquima will be on the podcast next week. And again, she worked so hard that her life changed forever. And she knew what to do with it. That's for damn sure. We will talk to you next week. Until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.